All right, guys, what's up? We're live. Welcome back. And with schedules right here. Back today for a teaching parable. And I think this one could really help you. Again, if you see lag on the videos, that's because my computer's CPU is not strong enough right now. My computer's doing the best it can. But until I get my new MSI gaming computer in a week or two, these videos are going to have some lag. And that's just going to be the way it is. So I hope you're okay with that. I'm going to be okay with it. All right? I've had all kinds of fun technical difficulties between my computer, running out of memory and the CPU not being good enough. And basically, even though it's a MacBook Pro, it's a 2015 MacBook Pro, and it's not getting the job done as far as streaming goes. So we're going to improve that for you and get a real nice gaming computer that can play games and stream this kind of stuff. And so anyway, what I'm talking about today is the idea of resiliency kind of being the point of life, okay? So again, here we're just talking about a parable or a metaphor or a thought on life every day. And the reason these are meant to be so impactful is because unlike other coaches or teachings or educations, right, this is just a new viewpoint. And so what I want you to always be able to bring out of these videos is not the idea that you have to go do something or check off some list or get something exactly right or that it's hard. But I want you to know that anytime I give you one of these videos, if you just adopt the mindset, right? If you just open your heart to the ideas and literally allow your emotions to come out through you, through your heart and like send all the way up into your brain and come out, right? If you're just willing to be part of a new perspective, which can be painful, then you can instantly change your life, okay? And it all happens because you instantly change yourself. Your life follows. You can't really instantly change your life, but you can instantly change yourself. And that creates cascading changes in your life and your world. Okay? That's what we always do here on the Liberated Millionaire podcast, on the parables, on the teachings, on Living Life with Woody Rainey channel, on everything. Okay? And so one thing I'm noticing, and again, it's important you remember, this is me just noticing things. This is not me being better than you. But one thing I'm noticing that I am very good at is that I treat life like a resiliency contest rather than an achievement contest. Okay? And so I've actually rigged life. This is something you'll see about me a lot, is that I like to say that I don't like to compete at something where the result is up for grabs. We all want certainty. Okay? We all want certainty. And it just depends on how we get it that determines the quality of our life. We all want certainty and variety. We have these basic human needs. Tony Robbins talks about them. He has 6. And the first 2 are certainty and uncertainty, right? We need certainty, but we also need a little bit of variety in our life. Okay? And before I get into the topic for today, let's roll with that because that's actually really important. The way most people get certainty is by making themselves feel sad, okay? Most people haven't practiced making themselves feel happy, and so they're never certain they can be happy, right? They're afraid that the next thing could come and they could be upset. The next thing could come and they could be sad. And so usually the way people achieve certainty and get that comfort of certainty is they give up and feel bad and call themselves names, right? Because you can always get that, right? You can always make that happen. It's very easy to make yourself feel bad. You don't have to practice, right? Because life is chaotic and you can just tear yourself apart. But it takes more skill and more nuance to make yourself happy and be certain about that. And, your emotions are always up and down. And so what I'm going to show you today is a new way to find certainty, when you don't have it before. And if you want to just see a real human live on camera, this is kind of funny, but I'm wearing the same clothes as I was wearing yesterday because I haven't showered yet. And so I put on this jacket so that you guys wouldn't see that I'm wearing the same shirt as yesterday and the exact same clothes, but I'm just going to take the jacket off because it's too hot, okay? And so, welcome to real life where the person you're coming to for your life advice hasn't changed clothes in a day. But I assume that you guys are cool with that because you're nice people and you're smart and you understand that it doesn't actually matter, okay? It doesn't actually matter. So I'm just going to make sure everything's good on the stream here. Yep, we're still good. That's awesome. Okay, so here's the deal, right? The way I get certainty, there are many ways I rig life so that I always win, and that's just the way I like to do it so I can be certain. And I gave you a metaphor before where or maybe it was on the podcast where I overdo it with books. Like if I'm going to write a paper, the reason I was a good student, this was on the podcast when I talked about being a good student. The way I would beat the other students is if they checked out 2 books, I would check out 20 books. And it didn't matter if my paper was better. I was going to have 10 times the sources. So of course I was going to get a better grade, right? It took no skill. All it took was a little bit of initiative to make it certain. Today, what I'm going to teach you is that, maybe not teach, but I tend to focus on the resiliency and response to things rather than the achievement. And this is why. You can never be certain about an achievement in life. All your anxiety in life comes because you think you have to have certainty in your ability to achieve something. But you don't. You can't, right? You can't. You can't possibly be certain in achieving something. You may think, I have to become, I have to earn this much money, and I have to be certain by earning that much money. But you couldn't possibly guarantee that. And so this is just one of the myriad ways where you set yourself up to fail and be sad on purpose because you're trying to create certainty where it's literally impossible. And I often struggle with this because I had this voice inside saying, you're not doing enough, right? Like, you can't be certain that you're going to achieve. You have all this potential. You can't be certain. And for the longest time, I was worried about that. But now I'm not worried. And the reason is because I've learned to focus on the resiliency. And I just need to be certain I'm using all of my willpower every day. And if I'm using all my will every day, I know I'm going to create the best result possible. And that's all I can do. And so then I can be certain that I've done the best I can do. So what do I mean? I've just kind of talked a little bit here. What do I mean by all this resiliency stuff? Well, here's a great simple example. Is I tend to practice bouncing back more than others when I feel sad or when I feel like I've had a bad day. So something I notice, that just blows my mind is most people, if they have a bad day, they wake up the next day and they feel like they're still where they left off the previous day, having a bad day. All right? And in fact, they feel like every time they have a bad day or they have a rough day or they feel unhappy, the next day, it's seared into them a little more. And so it's even harder to have a good day. It's even harder to break free. It's even harder to get back up and feel better, And there's a lot of heavy stuff going on in the world right now. I'm podcasting and talking about it all the time with sometimes controversial views between racism, coronavirus, economic challenges, right? There's all this crazy stuff happening in the world. And so it's pretty easy, right? Do you feel me here? Where it's pretty easy to essentially feel sad and feel like every day gets a little bit heavier, right? Every day something new is happening. But for me, I am in something I call the upward spiral. That's just upward spiral TM, Woody Rini, design term. And it's something where you feel better every day. And it's not that I feel happier every day or that every day is always better than the last. But the reason for me, I have this feeling of certainty that every day is going to be more enjoyable, more rewarding, more deep, more happy than the last, is because every day I have now practiced resiliency X+1 times. So when I have a rough day, right, I almost never retain it to the next day. For example, yesterday, I did my reflections, I did my video, right? I did all this, and I was at 20% energetically. I did not do my workout. It was my third day in a row off from my workout. I ended up playing a video game called Legends of Runeterra on my phone, like on a little tiny phone. Like, how miserable, because I don't have a computer that can play it yet, for multiple hours, right? So I failed my schedule. I got distracted on a video game. I ate 2 of my prepared meals instead of 1 because I don't have enough food in the house. How many other ways did I screw up yesterday, right? Like, I didn't shower, and I still haven't showered, and I'm wearing the same shirt that I wore yesterday. All this stuff happened, right? And I would literally, pull myself away from this video game on my phone, and then I'd go back to it, and then I'd pull myself away, and then I'd go back to it. And so basically, I had just millions of failures yesterday. But the cool thing is, since I'm not focused on any achievement, I'm focused on resiliency, every time I get away from the failure and reset, I consider that a rep to get stronger. And so when I wake up today, right, even though I did all this crazy stuff that wasn't that productive yesterday, I actually consider it a rep to get stronger, all right? I get stronger. And so while most people look at the previous day and they say, oh, look at all that crap I did yesterday. I've got this negative momentum, man, life sucks. I look at the previous day and I'm like, look at all that crap I did yesterday. I really screwed a bunch of crap up, and yet I'm even stronger today. This is awesome, right? I can screw a bunch of crap up and still feel pretty good. That's the difference, guys. I say this all the time. This is one of the ways I talk and make metaphors, is that most people treat life like a game, like something they have to play and get a result. But the truth is, results are meaningless because the only end result in life is death. And so there's no point in going for a result, because if you really wanted to go for the ultimate result, you'd be going for death itself, which you don't want, right? So obviously the result is not the point. We can, again, just use a simple logical connection, right? If life was about result, the only possible human outcome for result is death. Therefore, right, maybe we don't want to make it about the result, right? Maybe we want to make it about the time while we're living, okay? And so obviously, right, that's true. So what do, right? I just want to give you more insights into my head so maybe you can just grab this attitude. It's nothing special. It's nothing hard. It takes no work, no algorithm, no anything. It's just every time you bounce back up, right? You feel yourself get a little stronger and you just get excited about it. And I got a little bit of a competitive spirit, right? And I have a competitive spirit not because I want to be better than others, but because I just know that there's more, right? And I know that if I'm not doing something more than other people, then I'm doing something wrong. I would love to live in a world where everyone was perfect, everyone was perfectly ripped and fit, and they all taught me because I was the only one who was unhealthy or the only one who had a challenge or the only one who had a struggle. But that's not the way the world is. You got to realize, again, I will say this every single video from now on, you got to realize that the average person in the average world is tricked, is hoodwinked from just societal inertia, right? And societal malaise into doing a bunch of things that are counterproductive. And so if you want to be happy and productive, you cannot do these same behaviors that the average person is doing. It's nothing about the person. You could be that average person doing all the wrong things right now. And all you got to do is make the switch, right? It's nothing about you as a human being. It's that you've been tricked into this. And so I'm always looking to be competitive a little bit. To be competitive, and for me, it's not against a person, it's against society. Again, even I'm a little spiritual. I just like to imagine this devil thing that's tricking everybody into being average, into being unhappy, into being sad, into being frustrated, into not achieving. I like to imagine that I'm outwitting the devil, literally. Like there's a book by Napoleon Hill called Outwitting the Devil, and I like to literally imagine that I am facing off against the devil, kind of like Devil Went Down to Georgia style, you know what I mean? Like, except instead of fiddling, I'm trying to live a good life. And so that's what I'm doing in life. And one of the ways I do that is I just picture myself getting back up when somebody else wouldn't. And it's really amazing. This is an insight I can share with you, which I hope is also valuable, not just because I have thoughts, but because I am here doing the work, is that the reason everyone fails is because they stop, and that's the only reason anyone ever fails. Now, this is really important, right? An average person, maybe you're listening and you've heard that, but you don't really understand what that means. I have now been working at entrepreneurship full-time for about 9 months, part-time for 3 years, and I've watched so many people fail while I keep growing. And it's not like I'm all success. I've had so many ridiculous failures that I've had to bounce back up from. It's hilarious. My coaching business still earns negative money at the time I'm making this video because I invest every month in lighting, in computer, in video storage, in website design, in advertising and everything. I'm investing every month and I'm doing all my stuff free right now. So it's not that I'm perfect. It's not that I know everything. But at the same time, I do have an art business that's growing, that's making over $1,000 a month, that's building up and getting stronger and stronger, starting to earn even more passive digital income. So I am doing some things right where other people never get started. So I'm walking the line between showing you reality and all the ways I failed, but also doing pretty darn good for myself as well, even though I'm in the nascency, the beginning, the budding of my career. And so I guess the point of all this is that I've watched so many people fail. And I'm going to tell you, this is how people fail. This is maybe a lesson you need to hear from me as a coach. The way people fail is they look at what is needed to change their life and they actually sprint the opposite direction and never talk or think about positive things again. It's a fascinating phenomenon I've discovered, right? And so if this is you out there, maybe you need to come back and hang out and join one of my programs. Because what I've noticed is, especially last year when I was pitching more one-on-one coaching, which I don't really pitch anymore because it's not my favorite. My favorite is broadcasting to you guys. I was pitching one-on-one coaching. I'd get all these people, and I would get people on the phone, right? I had multiple people on the phone last year who would say, Woody, I really, really want to do this. I just need to think on it, okay? Or Woody, I really, really want to, do this, but I just have to go figure out where the money's going to come from, or et cetera, right? And I even had one person on the phone last year, and I was FaceTiming her, and we were talking, and I was like, okay, you don't have to sign up for my coaching, but you just need to tell me, no, you don't want it, right? Because I'm just trying to conclude the conversation. And they said, Woody, there's just not a no in me right now. And I thought, okay, great, so is that a yes? And they said, I need to go do therapy for something, and they vanished, never talked to me again, right? Talked to another person, they're like, I just don't know about the money, I don't know, I really should do this, but I don't know. Vanished, never talked to me again. And then I talked to another third person, and that person was like, yeah, I've got the money, I'm just a little bit afraid, but this is totally going to be good. I'm just going to think on it over Christmas. I'm like, man, listen, if you think on it over Christmas, you're probably never going to talk to me again. I've learned this. And then sure enough, that person, just essentially vanished, never talked to me again. And so the lesson here is that 99% of people seem to be blanking out and vanishing. And so all you have to do, if you want all the riches, success, happiness, and everything you could ever dream of in life, you just have to show up. Your problem is you are comparing yourself to these perfect people. Now, on my wall above my camera here, I have 12 people who I really respect, who are all pretty famous or well off. They all earn way more money than I do. From Novak Djokovic, who's a famous, one of the, maybe the best tennis player of all time. He might even be better than Federer and Nadal, but one of the equal best tennis players of all time, to Tony Robbins, famous life coach, to Gary Vaynerchuk, entrepreneur, to Michael Singer, author, to Jeff Cavaliere, famous YouTuber and athlete guy. All these people, right, are on my wall up there that I respect, okay? And yet I try not to balance my everyday life trying to imitate them or be perfect or achieve some vast riches immediately. What I do instead is I know now, this is the thing that switched in me and why I'm so consistent, why I'm producing videos every day, why I'm taking such bold action, why I'm being so successful, and why I know that even though I have 3 YouTube subscribers at the time of recording this video, I'm going to have thousands, tens of thousands, whatever, as time goes on. It's because I now realize that 99% of people are just not even kind of struggling and trying, but they're actually quitting and running the opposite direction from success. And so all you have to do is not quit and not run the opposite direction from success if you want to be successful. Guys, that's all you have to do. And what you're going to realize is there's this deep emotional component in you that keeps stopping you. And it's happening to everybody. And so everybody's looking the other way at each other, worrying about what to do. And so my encouragement for you, I know this one has been a little all over the place, right? It hasn't exactly been some strict parable or metaphor, right? But the reason I'm saying this resiliency thing is because if you watch yourself get stronger physically, mentally, and emotionally every time you get back up, you'll know that you can't fail, And that attitude will get you through anything. And if we've seen anything in 2020, it's that the traditional way of living is never secure, right? We got people who are being fired from quote-unquote secure jobs because of COVID, right? We got entire industries being wiped out. We've got, people who are investing in a higher education and paying, tens of thousands of dollars a year for an advanced degree who don't know if they're going to get internships, right? My wife's in the field of law, and we got people who are paying plenty of thousands of dollars for law school who may not get summer jobs, may not get internships, may have struggles to start their career. So I hope this is waking you up. Not that those things are wrong, but that whatever you decide to do in terms of education or career, it's not nearly as important as building up your own resiliency. And so every day, if you just wake up a little bit stronger, if you give yourself credit for resiliency, then you're just automatically on the path to success. Because I'm telling you, right, the only way that you can fail is to stop going. Or to not go all out. Now, that's another thing, is you can't just kind of halfway show up. If you watch some of my earlier stuff, you'll see a person who was kind of halfway showing up. Now you're seeing a person who's making controversial statements, right? I'm always down to talk about death, racism, challenges, all this stuff. I'm down to express things that may be controversial or that may upset people in order to make us all grow, even if it's my ego, my credibility, that has to be on the line when I say things that are addressing tough topics, right? I'm always down to address taboo topics and stuff like that. Just yesterday, I made a podcast about racism and I expressed a lot of views that while they were really what I felt, I was super nervous putting them out there because I felt like I might need to defend them or be defensive when that's not the truth. I just love everybody and I want them to have my thoughts and they can choose their thoughts. And so all this rambling is about the fact that if you just keep digging in emotionally and getting back up off the mat, then you'll eventually get to where you want to go, right? And there are a million great places. You can go a million great places where you can really be successful and happy and grow and just feel so, so good about yourself, guys. And so one of the ways I inspire myself to do that personally is I listen to the song Tub Thumping by Chumbawamba, right? If you want a simple theme song for your life, if you want one for mine, it's just Tub Thumping by Chumbawamba. That's the song that just says, I get knocked down, but I get up again. You probably heard that song once in your life. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never going to keep me down. And so, honestly, just listen to that song every morning. Just repeat that. Just know, right, that every day you get back up, there's somebody who's not getting back up. And know that behind every person who's extremely successful, they had to get back up again over 1,000 times, 10,000 times, 1,000,000 times. Every time something happened, they got back up. And so this is all a lot to take in. But the truth is, it's actually just one decision that you make in a split second. That's what Tony Robbins would say. Decisions are made in a split second. Destiny is shaped in a split second of a decision. Your split second decision is, do you decide that no matter what happens, you're going to get back up again, right? And again, this is so simple to me. It's extraordinarily painful. I've gone through unbelievable amounts of physical and emotional and mental pain the past 4 years as I've gone over my anxiety, as I've conquered things, as I've built a brand, right? And I've done all that. And again, to be transparent, my coaching brand still isn't even earning money. And I'm doing all this for you guys, making all this content, right? Building my foundation, treating it just like a grad school where you're actually spending money to get your education and get yourself ready, you know? And so it doesn't bother me anymore. But the important thing to know is that, like, man, if you just get back up again every time, you're going to succeed. It's inevitable. And again, it's not that you need to know perfectly that you're going to get some achievement or result, right? This is another thing people get wrong, is they try to think, well, I do want to be successful, but I don't know if it's worth it, right? The point I want to constantly drive into your brain is that you don't need to be certain of getting results or getting perfect, or, I don't need to be certain I'm going to have 10 million followers on YouTube one day, even if I have 3 now. What I need to be certain of is that if I don't wake up and get back up again every day, that means certain death, that means hopelessness, that means every bad thing in the world could happen to me and I wouldn't have the ability to get back up. And so that's what I want you to be motivated by. There were days, honestly, at my last few months at my corporate job, even at the last couple of years, there were days, even in 2017, when I was working at a job I really hated, frankly, and like with a boss I really didn't like, and I was working and I would come home and be like, I just want to quit. Like, I really just want to quit. And the next day I'd wake up and get right back at it. And that training made me so strong and so resilient that now I can be happy pretty much anywhere because I've grown myself so much. And so I don't want you to stress about the result because life will always balance out. What I mean is, even if you have extreme success at the beginning, there's going to be a ton of added pressures that are really going to mess you up until you work things out. Even if it takes a long time, then you're going to get over that stuff early, and then you're going to have this upward spiral. So it doesn't matter whether you're successful in 20 years or 1 year. The success, the achievement, none of that stuff matters. What matters is if you just focus on getting back up again, on training yourself, you'll always know you're giving your full potential, and you'll always be able to be happy. And so it's really wonderful. Guys, it's really extraordinarily wonderful. And so I just want you to know that. So that's enough for this section of the video. I hope it makes sense. Play your tub thumping, get back up again. And the other thing is, do it internally, right? If you have a tough conversation, see how fast you can get back up again. If you get sucked into negativity, see how fast you can get back up again, right? But the beauty is, if you make the one decision to always get back up again, you've already won. Again, you've already won life. You've already won. You have nothing else to worry about. Guys, this is why I don't have to worry anymore about my future. It doesn't mean everything could go wrong, right? Everything could go wrong in my life. Like, you never know what could happen, right? But the thing is, if you make the decision to always get back up again, then what do you have to worry about, It doesn't matter if you fail. It doesn't matter if a couple days ago I was eating nacho chips, eating Tostitos and shredded cheese that was microwaved as my dinner because I ran out of food. I'm just going to get back up again and go to the grocery and buy healthy food today. And so I just always feel like a winner because I'm always getting back up again. So just so you know, life is not like some game or some championship or some bracket or something where one winner happens. Every single person can always be the winner by getting back up again. You have infinite tries. You have as many tries as you're willing to create. You have a finite time on earth, but on that finite time are an infinite number of split seconds where you can choose to get back up again. And so there are literally infinite numbers of like infinitesimally small seconds where you can readjust yourself and get back up again. And if you're always willing to do that, then what the heck? Like, that's the fun part. So guys, there's that video today. Head to the next video if you want to watch me kind of dig into myself and my own psyche, but we're going to stop this recording right here.